Hello and welcome, people of YouTube. My name is Dom, aka Engine Rambles, and I am here today to bring you a first motovlog. Haven't done one before. Haven't done any YouTube videos before, really. I don't really know what to expect. Never done any editing, never done any sort of social media accounts or anything like that. I'm a complete novice as far as these sort of things are concerned. So, I'm 23 years old. If you haven't guessed already by my accent, I live in England, and the fact that I'm driving on the correct side of the road, obviously. More specifically, I live in a place called Essex, and a town called Clacton-on-Sea, which you probably can't tell because it's quite a nice part. It's generally pretty shit. I'm a self-employed carpenter. I build houses for a living, I suppose. I obviously don't make any money off of this because this is the first video I've ever done. The bike I am currently riding is my absolute baby. I love this bike so much. I've been riding 6 years now, well, coming up 7 years, and this has been by far the best bike I've ever owned and possibly my favourite bike I've ever ridden. And I've ridden quite a few. So, it is a 2013 GSXR 750 L1, and it's fantastic. I really do love this bike. I started off, as most people do in the UK, when I was 17 years old, riding a 125, but it wasn't just like a decent 125 or anything like that. So is it YBR or something? Yamaha do like a YBR, which is sort of like the standard for beginner motorcycles in the UK. I started off on a awful, and I mean truly awful, Chinese import 125 thing, and I loved it because it was the first bike that I ever had, but it was diabolical. Mechanically it was sound, but it rode like a bag of shit, and electronically it was just the worst. I can't even remember the actual model, the manufacturer of the motorcycle, because it was just like one of these generic Chinese brands where there's like 6 or 7 different manufacturers and they just put different stickers on the bike and then call it something else, but essentially it's the same bike. So it was, all I remember is the model number was an HN1258, and I can't for the life of me remember what the manufacturer was. But if you Google HN1258, that will come up. It will come up with the bike I had, and that's what I started learning on. And I rode that bike around for sort of 18 months, 2 years. And then I passed my test. And at the time I was 19 years old when I passed my test. I was only working part-time and I didn't have any money, and my dad very kindly bought me my first proper motorcycle, and he bought me a Yamaha 535 Virago, and again I absolutely love that bike, but it didn't love me. Thank you. What a nice person. I like it when cars move out of the way. They know I'm going to come through anyway, so they might as well just move out of the way. So yeah, anyway, he bought me this 535 Virago, and it really had been through the ringer. All the chrome was peeling off, the rear mudguard was right through and was almost in 2 pieces. The front mudguard wasn't in much better condition. The tank was dented. It had god-awful stickers put on it, like it had a British bulldog on one side of the tank, and it had a monster emblem on the back of the bike, and the bike was like red and silver, you know, it wasn't even monster colours, and it was a cruiser, and that trend sort of stuck with me. I always rode cruisers. I loved cruisers. That's a police car up in front. I better slow down. But yeah, so I always rode cruisers, and yeah, I had this 535 Virago on the road for about, well, I don't know, 2 months I suppose, and it broke down. And I don't mean like slightly broke down, I mean it properly broke down. I think it was a camshaft in the front cylinder that I sheared. I sheared the camshaft in the front cylinder. Don't ask me how I did it, I don't know. I think it was something to do with an oil feeder. And anyway, that spent about a year off the road before I had the money and the guy who was repairing it could be bothered to do it. Again, that's a long story in and on itself. Basically, the guy didn't want to do the work, I didn't want him to do the work, and there was sort of a middleman in between us who sort of forced both of us into the situation, and neither of us really wanted to do it. But anyway, so eventually I get this bike back and I have it back on the road for about 2 weeks, 3, maybe a month, and same thing happened again, same thing gone. So that basically was the end of that bike. And by this point I'd started working full time. I started working as a carpenter, and I started earning a lot better money, and I bought myself the first vehicle I ever truly bought myself, because my 125 I got from inheritance from my grandfather when he passed away. I bought it with the inheritance money that he left me. Shit, I'm in the wrong lane here. Oh no, copper. I want to go this way. Oh no, copper. So yeah, anyway, I started working full time, bought myself a Honda VT 750S, which is kind of like a cross between a Shadow and the reinvention of the Bonneville. It was an interesting bike. I ripped that bike. I genuinely really liked. I went all over the country on that bike. That thing taught me more about riding than any other motorcycle that I've owned. And it wasn't particularly fast, it wasn't particularly... I mean, a lot of people didn't like the way it looked. I thought it was a good looking bike, but... So yeah, like I say, I went all over the country too. I went to loads of different bike rallies and bike shows, and I was in 2 motorcycle... well, not motorcycle clubs, they weren't MCs, they were MCCs. I was in 2 clubs with that bike. And I made a lot of friends on it. I made a lot of very good memories, but it got to the point where most of my friends, especially the younger ones that I regularly rode with, were all on sports bikes. Basically all my friends rode sports bike by this point, and I was so fed up of riding sports bikes, of riding cruisers, because I couldn't keep up no matter how hard I tried. And I rode the shit out of that bike, that Honda Shadow that I had, and I had it for 2 years. I've done 7,000 miles on it, which isn't a lot, but in that time I went through 3 rear tyres, a front tyre, rear suspension, both shock absorbers on the rear suspension, and a set of foot pegs, because I just used to grind them off in quarters. And yeah, it got a bit silly in the end. I was going to end up killing myself because I was doing things on that bike just to keep up that it wasn't built to do. So I sold it, and now I've got this thing, and like I said, it's the best bike I've ever rode. It's just flat down, it's the best bike I've ever rode. I think it looks the best. Even though I was never really into sports bikes, I think it looks the best bike that I've ever had. Fuck me, this is pissing me off now. Which way is this police car going to go? Thank you for that guy for trying to let me past, but there's no way I'm going to overtake when we're doing 40 in a 40 with a police car right in front of him. So yeah, I went and bought this bike, and I haven't looked back since. It does everything I wanted to. The brakes are like hitting a brick wall. It goes like stink. And I know there are bikes that are out there that are faster. I've ridden bikes that are out there that are faster than this thing, but I still absolutely love it. It's for me at least, it's the perfect balance for the street. I've got similar power to a 1000, and I've got similar lightness and handling to a 600. For me, it's the perfect combination for the road. And I've ridden 600s, I've ridden 1000s, and I'm really starting to get annoyed with these fucking cyclists and this police car in front of me now. I'm probably following this police car way too close. He's probably waiting for me to overtake me so he can tug me. Okay, I'm going to have cut most of this out, but I've been following this police car now for about 15 minutes. starting to get a little bored now. I may just end up stopping and letting everybody go that's behind me, so I can just fuck off. Having said that though, this police guy is actually speeding. Probably going to cut that bit out because I don't want the police to think I'm having a go at them. I have maximum, and this brings me on to another subject actually that I was going to talk about in a separate video. I have maximum respect for the police. Yes, okay, sometimes they're a bit inconvenient like now when I want to have fun, but at the end of the day, I want to have fun by breaking the law, and they're just doing their job. Their job is to reinforce the law, and they're just doing their job. At the end of the day as well, cops aren't bad people, and that is exactly what they are. They are people. They're here to do a job. So yeah, okay, you get some cops that are dickheads, and you get some cops that are fucking brilliant. You know, I've had some brilliant fucking laughs with coppers. Hell, I've got two. My aunt, for one, was a copper. My uncle was a copper. I've got a good friend who's a copper. You know, cops aren't bad people, and actually the good friend who's a copper, he rides like a bigger lunatic than I do. And I ride, well, I wouldn't say I ride fast, but I am a bit of an idiot at occasions. Oh, turn off, copper, no. So yeah, I like police, and I have a lot of respect for them. I've been tugged a few times, but I've been tugged doing stupid things, like going way too fast. Or pulling wheelies or stuff like that. You know, I've been tugged doing stupid things, and at the end of the day, if you're polite and respectful for them, you'll get away with it. I mean, I've been tugged several times. I got clocked, and I don't know the officers' names, so don't even ask me. I don't know anything about the copper or anything like that, but I got clocked, well, not clocked, but he caught me doing well over 130 mile an hour, because I glanced down at my speedo and I was doing 130 and I was still accelerating, and he said to me that he was in his traffic cop car, he had to hit 155 just to catch up with me, and he only caught up with me because I slowed down going into a 30 mile an hour. I slowed down to about 35, 40 going into that zone, and that's when he caught up with me, and he let me away with a warning. You know, I was going at that sort of speeds and he let me away with a warning. Oh, this cop's not going to go faster on this corner. Oh, really? So yeah, cops can be alright, because if you're polite to them, they're polite to you. And I know a lot of bikers hate cops, and I don't see why, because yes, okay, maybe you can't go fast and drive like a lunatic, but it doesn't matter. It does not matter. You still get to where you're going. This is one of my favourite little villages that's nearby. It's a place called Mistley, and it's right up the very northern border of Essex and Suffolk, and it's very picturesque and very pretty. I mean, it's very narrow and tight, and it's actually horrible to ride around if you're a biker, but it's just a very pretty little village. What's this guy doing? Oh, he's just parking, that's cool. There it is! There it is! She was like 70. Your generic clothing store. Oh, hello. That could either be really nice or really old. One of the two. Well, that guy looks, so I'm going to say she's really nice. And he was on a push bike, so... Is she nice? Nah, she's okay. I'm sorry, that was really harsh to that woman. So, what do I hope to achieve with this channel? Well, I'll be entirely honest, because that's how I'm going to be all the way through this channel. I'm going to say exactly what's on my mind, and I don't care. I don't care who agrees with me, I don't care who disagrees with me, I don't care who's offended. I just don't care. My goals for doing this channel is literally looking for a little bit of fulfillment, I guess. Like, I feel like there's something missing from my life, and I'd love to build my own little community of bikers and friends and stuff like that, people that I can ride with quite a lot. I mean, I have my friends that I ride with, obviously, but I would love to build this own little community and plan ride outs and stuff like that. You know, I'd absolutely love that. And hell, I would absolutely love, and I'm going to be entirely honest here, I'd love to earn a little bit of beer money on the side of this. I really would. But that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it as a hobby, and I'm doing it to build this little community. But fuck it. If I can earn a little bit of beer money on the side, that's excellent. That's how I know I'm gonna make it. If I can make enough money off of YouTube to fill the tank up on this bike, that's gonna make me happy, and that will. So what have I got planned for this channel? Well, it is mainly going to be me vlogging, and it's not just going to be about motorcycles. I'm going to be talking about all things that I deem important enough to talk about. You know, at the risk of quoting Boogie, because I'm Boogie 2988, I'm a big gamer by the way, Boogie 2988, I'm going to talk about the life, the world and the universe and all the things around me that affects me, or something along those lines that he says. But that's essentially what I'm going to be doing. I said I'm also going to be going to bike shows, bike rallies. There's going to be a lot of footage from that sort of stuff. I'm not too into the car scene, but I am starting to get a bit more that way, so I'm going to be getting into the bike scene a little bit more. Just generally, it's going to be a walkthrough day to day of my life. Well, maybe not day to day, because I'm going to try and upload like once a week or something like that. We'll just have to see how often I get to upload. I'm hoping it's going to be once a week, but I only really get time to ride in the evenings and weekends because of the job that I do. I have to take tools to my job. I can't take the motorbike very often. But this is the major issue with this road, and that's fucking cars. They slow you right down on this road, which is a shame because this bit of road is fantastic, and normally what I would do is sit and wait for a while for the road to go clear and then go for it, but today that's not going to happen, unfortunately. Anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough. This has been Dom, aka Engine Rambles. I hope you guys like, rate, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I hope you stick around for another video because I'm intrigued to see how this one goes, and I'd like you guys to stick around for the journey as well. Anyway, take it easy guys, and I will catch you next time.